Hello and welcome back to Adobe Live, everyone, here on Behance. My name is Alexis Bustos and I'm here with two pretty amazing guys. Yuki, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Leo, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing great. And you guys together are Castlelab. Welcome, everyone, to the Castlelab stream.
Hey.
Hello, chat. How's everyone doing? We are here in San Francisco. Where are you guys joining us from?
Yes.
Show us.
Location.
Tell us where. Where are you guys joining us from?
I actually flew in from Vancouver and Toronto for Leo.
If anybody's from Toronto in the chat, please.
Yeah.
It's about to be a very polite stream, you guys.
We're sorry, by the way.
Oh, awesome. Well, this is exciting. We got three people on the stream. We're going to be talking about design stuff. You guys join us. Where are you joining from? New York,
Hey.
Montreal?
There we
There
go.
you go. Hi, everyone. Well, let's go through the schedule really quick for anyone who's new to the stream. Earlier today, we had some awesome creative challenges being showcased. And then we had an illustrator, Junebug, who did some sick work. You guys should check out that stream. And then we're here with Castlelab and the same schedule tomorrow, y'all. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a good 2 days. Also, in about 15 minutes, we're going to be doing a chat to win opportunity, which is always exciting. And you're about to, you could win like 100 free stickers from Sticker Mule.
Can we win?
I've literally tried every chat and they won't let me win.
Oh.
We can't win, but you guys can win, and that's what's
matters.
important. That's all that matters. Hey Howard, how you doing, man? Howard grew up in Toronto. There you go.
Hi, Howard.
Awesome, awesome. Well, without further ado, I'm ready to hear about Castlelab and how you guys got started.
Cool. Everybody can see like the slide.
Yes.
Yo.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Castlelab is currently a product design studio. But what's interesting about it is that we were born 3 years ago out of a university incubator. And we were born as a tech startup instead of a design studio. So we'll take you maybe through a few milestones, a journey maybe, things that are important to us and that kind of belong to the Castlelab history, which have shaped us and the people. And if you have any questions about any of those milestones, just ask them in the chat. And I think we have a lot of stories to tell you. So without further ado.
Yeah, and we actually have a pretty unique story as to how we came about to become a design studio. And so, let's just walk through how we came about.
Oh, hi, Ekin in the chat. So as I just said, Castlelab was born as a tech startup at the University of British Columbia, which is in Vancouver, up north. And the funny story is there were three co-founders. And 3 years ago, one of them posted on the subreddit for that university if anybody else had an equal amount of free time as that person had. I just wanted to create something outside. It didn't have to be a startup, it didn't have to be a business, but just like as a side project.
Right, yeah, just for like, hey guys, I want to do something, because college isn't hard enough. You wanted to add a side project.
Exactly. And so what happened is that person posted on the subreddit and 20 people responded very enthusiastically, and 3 people met up the next day only. And from there, Castlelab was born.
Wow, that's wild. Did your name stay with you that whole time?
No, it was called something different early on.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we're going to hear about that a little later.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So you started in college.
Yes, we started in college, and it was a perfect environment for us to find the talent we needed to grow. And then Yuki joined almost like a year later with 3 other people, and from then on we built. Okay, so background story is we were a tech startup, which means that we were specializing in building a real estate plugin. If you go to a realtor website, they have like these, they call the MLS, which is like a list of all the real estate listings for an area, and it's dynamic. So our specialty was building that plugin for as many realtors as possible in Vancouver.
It's very niche, very early on. That's cool. I like that approach. Okay.
So we did that for the first year. And then Yuki came halfway through, and from then on we pivoted. We found out that we were more passionate about product design.
And we actually wanted to expand our scope, so we wanted to design more than just real estate websites.
Right.
And we kind of got the hang of the patterns. And so we expanded. We became a design studio. And yeah, some next milestones after that, we actually were awarded the top 10 UX designer from Adobe. So yeah, we're really proud of that.
Wow.
And yeah, I think from there, things have just gone north, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, like now we're here. So I think things are going pretty well.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I think we're always learning.
Well, you guys, these are the guys not only to watch, but ask questions. Here's the future of design right here, I think. I mean, I don't want to be too bold to say that, but I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Awesome. And so you guys do a lot of beauty product design as well as, sounds like you do a lot of 3D motion as well. And, you want to kind of take us through, like, what are some of your kind of specialties?
Yeah, for sure. So I'd definitely say that our main pillar, our main service offering is product web design. And then brand identity is another one. And we've just recently started exploring 3D motion and illustration and animation,
Very fun.
which we have had so much fun doing lately. So we did it for the first time for our own brand. We experimented with Castlelab using 3D motion, and since then we've been offering that service too.
Yeah, check us out on castlelab.ca
Yeah.
to see all the motion design that we've actually been doing on our own website. So.
Yeah, Howard is pointing it out in the chat. We're very proud of our homepage animation. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
It's very cute. I also agree. Yeah, chat, if anyone else is dipping their toes into kind of the world of 3D motion, here's your chance to kind of have some overlap in your conversation. Eric thought Castlelab was one guy.
Oh, it's Eric. Oh my goodness. Hi, Eric.
Because you have a Behance page, probably, because you have like one Behance page. No, you guys, it's a team of people.
It's a team behind.
It's amazing what people can do when they're together.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, great.
Yeah, let's just continue then. All right.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick introduction. I'm Yuki again. So my role in Castlelab is a design lead. I make sure that all the design-related things are running smoothly with all the clients. Little fun facts, I'm actually quite active. So I'm a black belt practitioner in karate. So watch out, you guys.
Right, so I'm gonna sit over here.
Yeah, no, please. But yeah, other than karate, I actually play a lot of volleyball, and I enjoy spending the time outside of the screen. But other than that, I like to do create designs that nudge. What that means is to help create designs that help people do the things that they want to do more.
Very
It's
cool.
like waking up on time and whatever such. And so I like to make my impact through design. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Oh,
How about
that's
yourself?
awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how I compare it to you, Yuki. Instead of being a black belt in karate, I am addicted to TikTok. So, yeah, that's one thing. I actually share that interest with a coworker of mine, and we just really addicted. Just like we want to create those TikToks out of every situation.
Oh, wow, yes.
Anyways, that's
Okay,
a lot of
we're
fun.
gonna talk later.
Yes, and fun fact is I also do technology consulting back in Toronto, and then I balance that with Castlelab. So
Cool.
that's been fun, and yeah, just as I told you just early on, 3D motion design is something I want to pursue more seriously. I haven't had the chance to actually do that myself, but I will look into it very soon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for also showing us these adorable baby photos.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Leo, is that a sailor hat on
That
your
is
head?
a sailor
Got
hat,
it. Cool.
indeed.
Great. Love it. It's the cutest thing. Perfect. I've also noticed you're doing your presentation in XD.
Yeah.
Quick plug for XD.
The transitions
Lots
are
of all the
perfect
plugs for XD.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
amazing.
put a lot of time on it. Yeah.
Look at that. Ooh, smooth.
Great. So yeah, for today's, we're gonna be doing the stream across 2 days. So today we're gonna be building the foundation for our project. It's gonna be the same project for today and tomorrow. We're gonna run through the project brief, doing some research, identifying the scope at which we want to kind of play around, build the prototypes, and somewhere in between that, we're gonna have the portfolio review. And yeah, we're excited to see some portfolios today as well.
That's right. Yeah, you guys. We're going to be doing portfolio reviews. I don't think I mentioned that at the top. Yeah, everyone, get your portfolios in. These are the guys to have critiquing your portfolios, I think. You guys are pretty good at looking at portfolios. Yeah,
We'll see about
I'd
that.
say
We'll
a little
see about
probably pretty good. But yeah, that'll be today. And then tomorrow, you guys are going to have the creative challenge. So that should be fun.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to focus more on creating a unique experience, building on the foundation that we created today. So more like branding and styling for the screens that we're going to make, some animations and interactions. Hopefully we'll be able to dive into that.
Nice.
And essentially just creating a high fidelity prototype, pretty much delivering that to the developers. And lastly, just presenting whatever we have at the end of the tomorrow, and how we would present that to this fictitious client. So yeah, and yeah, lastly, we're just gonna have a creative challenge at the end.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's our agenda for the next 2 days.
Very thorough. It's gonna be great.
Great. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get started with the scenario that we have kind of built for us for our project today. Actually, a little bit of a background history as to why we came up with this option. So payment interfaces for restaurants, a painful experience. Actually, earlier in the month, I was visiting in Portland. It's a beautiful city. There's a Japanese garden that I visited. It was great. I thought I was in Japan. So the city itself was amazing, but one of the painful experiences that I had was just interacting with the credit card machines. All of them was different, coming from crossing the border from Canada to the US. Experiences weren't the best, and so as a designer, everyone's like, okay, how can I improve this upon this experience? And so we've created that scenario for us to work on today. But yeah, a lot of the things that we do actually stem from our personal experiences and what we kind of struggle with and frustrations, and we want to create better solutions and offer better solutions to the world. So yeah, this is one of them, for sure.
And I'm sure that experience being painful kind of took you out of the other experiences you were having, right? It really kind of like hindered your ability to enjoy anything. And it's those little problems that really make a big difference in your day.
We're talking about it here today, even though the Portland experience that I had was great. Some small things can actually linger on.
Sorry, Portland.
Yeah, well, you know, Portland's it's no Toronto. Well, awesome.
Great. So a solution that we, or a scenario, I guess, that we can be working with is design a unique payment experience for a dark dining restaurant. So that's the constraint or the client that we can be working with. So a client that owns a dark dining restaurant can come to us and ask, can you design a credit card machine to create a unique payment experience? So that's our basis for our project. And a little bit more about what dark dining restaurant is in general. But yeah, do you want to touch up on that?
For sure. Yeah. So dark dining is kind of like our special use case here for this this live stream, because we thought it'd be very fun to take into account other constraints, unusual constraints, and come up with features fit for them. So dark dining is pretty much dining in the dark, as easy as that sounds, as simple as that sounds, sorry. And so you have these places, these restaurants across the world, in probably every major city that offers this service. And so I believe there was one in SF. We looked it up yesterday. We were ready to go and experiment ourselves. But it closed down. So that was unfortunate. But every major city should have one. And the concept actually comes back from 1999. There was a blind clergyman who wanted other people to share this experience of blindness when it comes to eating, because apparently it provides greater enjoyment of food through by enhancing other senses like taste and smell. So and people have picked up on that trend, and we think it's really fun.
Yeah, and what a way to kind of frame your problems as well. You're really going for the extreme. Not only you're redoing a payment system, but it's like, what if we add in can't see it? What if we take out one of the essential elements of this that actually has been a big issue? So what a way to frame it and like give yourself a really interesting problem to work with.
Definitely.
And here's the thing is that you're going to come back from it, and you're going to be like, we can create anything now because we took out sight from payment.
And it's like a complete different world when you think about you have to think of this whole new set of obstacles and constraints. So I think it's a great use case, and
it's also a great practice in design. You know, like give yourself the most extreme use case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And work back from there.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So if anybody in the chat has gone to dark dining,
Yeah.
please raise a hand and let us know how it worked and what you felt from this entire experience.
What's the emotions behind it? And dark dining isn't just, like you have low lighting in your kitchen.
It's pitch black.
Yeah. Wow. I would love to have that experience. And so hopefully you guys get to have one at some point. Yeah. Cool.
I'm thinking you could just do that at home too, right? Like you could just cook something and
Right,
then and turn all the lights off
Yeah.
and
maybe arrange things so or maybe not. Who knows? I'm not sure what the experience is like.
I actually looked up like a review or like how to do this at your house, and it said it's quite difficult. There aren't a lot of rooms that are pitch black for you, and you have to kind of really tailor that, and like the server has to come to you. How are you gonna manage all that? So there's a lot of questions to it. That's why like dark dining experiences in restaurant exist, and so yeah, that's the constraint that we're giving us today.
Love it.
And yeah. There are a lot of interesting questions that arises when you kind of take vision out of it. So yeah, let's just get started.
Yeah, Shantanu says, guests, chefs don't have to worry about plating anymore. There's actually a fun fact about dark dining, which is that usually people eat with their hands.
Yeah, that
Because
makes sense. 'Cause
why would you use cutlery if, in the dark? Like, nobody looks at you, so I guess you could just,
Oh my gosh. And there's so much also social probably stigma with like doing
Yeah,
that, and now
exactly.
it's all gone.
Nobody
Right?
can
No
see
one
you.
can see you.
Yeah.
Oh, chat. Would you guys be willing to do a dark dining with us? I kind of want to know. How did the servers see? Marissa asked. I don't know.
I think I saw some pictures where they have like night vision goggles.
Exactly.
Got it. I love it. Very daredevil. I love it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, just the project brief, a little bit of the context that we'll be working from. So create a unique experience for a restaurant called Au Noir. That's a French for darkness or
Something au black.
black.
Yeah, just
Au black. Yeah, but yeah, it's a once in a lifetime restaurant, of course, that serves food in complete darkness. Just a little bit of background because it's such an intimate space. And vulnerable space. Usually couples attend, are the customers. They eat with their hands, as Leo mentioned, because they don't have anyone watching them, and it's much easier to eat with their hands. As well, it's just pitch black, and so that's the environment that the users will be interacting with when we're designing this interface for them. So yeah, I think a lot when we're starting a project, a UI UX project, we have to start with the context, where they are, who's the user, what is the environment that they're in, and we have to understand that first. So that's why we're giving this information to you. So yeah, we have some framework to work around.
Oh, awesome.
Great.
Yeah, what's the next step from here?
Yeah, so actually we're gonna do some tests with Alexis today.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
I'm for this.
because this client came to us to fix their current solutions, we're actually going to give you their current solution and ask for some feedback that you might experience, and we'll use your feedback actually, and chat if you have any feedback from like putting yourself in the shoes of someone who's actually interacting with these screens. You can comment on if you think that there can be improvements that can be made. So yeah.
So we are the users to user test on.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Great. So let's just hop on.
Very cool. Oh man, what an experience.
Let's see. All right.
I believe this is very much inspired by the Square interface. And so that's our baseline for today.
Cool.
We'll be building and improving upon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that, but yeah, thank you for reminding me. So this is the interface that the client usually is using at this time. So it's called Square, and the screens are much larger than the typical ones, and that's why we kind of use this. And it's really fun because we were able to pick the machines that they were using. So yeah, this is the context that they're using, and yeah, let's just jump right into this.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna scooch my laptop and have you just pretty much imagine yourself in a pitch dark room. You're full because you just ate a full course meal,
So good.
and everything was great, and you want to pay for your yeah, your meal.
Okay.
So
Do you want me to just kind of talk through what I'm
yeah,
going
think
through,
aloud
what I'm
whatever you're
experiencing?
feeling. Yes,
Right, I guess my
exactly.
first thought would be like, oh my gosh, what's this bright screen doing in front of me? Like
Ooh.
I just ate in the dark. My eyes, I don't know, my eyes adjusting well. That would be my first thought.
That's great.
And also I'd be like, what did I eat? I think that'd be the other thing, be like, what did I eat? Question mark. I would be the first time maybe seeing those words like roast beef. I'm like, I didn't know I was eating roast. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And also like, wow, pretty good price for all the food I got.
Wait, what did you get there?
Oh, like two entrees, 2 drinks.
I'm like,
Either
wow.
way, I'd probably be like, okay, cool. Right, okay, I can confirm it. I didn't know I ate that, but that's great. At a tip, yeah, I'd love to know. I usually do 20, but in the stream I'll do 25.
We were scared there's going to be like a big debate going on as to like the standard tipping rate.
What's the standard tipping rate?
Because then also Europe
I worked
versus
at a
America.
restaurant. I worked
you
at a
know?
restaurant,
Oh, wow.
and I always 20 for sure. Really great 25. But do you guys tip? What do you guys tip?
Yeah, I think the standards are different for.
Yeah, what is the
I
standard?
think in Vancouver, from my experience, it's around 15 for average. If it's 20, it's really good. Anything below 15 is subpar.
Yeah, I would say.
So, yeah.
Chat, what's your tipping etiquette? What's your preferred tipping
Good
etiquette? I don't know. I've worked in a lot of restaurants, and I always want to give more now.
Also, do you tip pre-tax or after tax?
Oh.
Yeah, we had to do a lot of research before doing this.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah.
These are the things to keep in mind when you're creating an actual interface that
Definitely.
has to do with tipping and how. And when you know, I've always wondered, I feel like it's a big pain point for a lot of users when someone assumes your tip. Like when machines assume your tip, just like this. Like, what if I wanted to tip my own? What if I wanted to give like $100? What if I'm a baller, shot caller, and just want to like throw down $100 to the server because I think they're the
Exactly.
best? Not that I would, but awesome. Okay, so
That's great.
I would.
Thanos says it's 15% for Toronto. Good to know.
Okay, good to know. I guess at this point in my experience, I'd be like, now where do I insert it? Because I'm assuming I couldn't see it. So I'd be like, insert where, swipe, interesting, tap. Okay, I can tap. Maybe I have a smart card. Okay, cool. Print receipt, sure.
Oh,
Okay,
but yeah, that's the end of
Cool.
the experience.
yeah, that would be my rundown of the current interface.
So there was actually a lot of things that you touched on, and I'm really glad that you actually touched on the brightness of the screen. You really had to put yourself in that environment. Close your eyes, imagine now that you're giving you this bright screen. And so that's definitely one of the pain points that we're gonna have to kind of tackle in our prototype today. And yeah.
And when you guys are doing other user tests, is that one way you do it? Do you actually put people in that environment, kind of, like, is this a remnant of how you guys actually use your test?
absolutely.
And would you recommend like the people who are just getting started to kind of, do you have any tips for anyone just getting started with user testing and how to gather insights just like you did?
Ooh.
There's
I have one that's
Yeah.
really, really important. Always pilot your test.
Okay.
You don't know what's going to happen, especially when you haven't tried it with people who haven't been interacting or created your screens yet. So always pilot your test just to see like if there are any things that could go wrong, because you don't want to waste valuable time with the people in front of you.
Right.
And so yeah, that's definitely my tip for user testing.
Yeah, I think not every designer has the budget or the opportunity to always test and really do some proper user research. And so when you do have a budget and the time for it, then and if you have the resources, do it well. So there's this wonderful book called Sprint, written by somebody from Google Ventures. And they have this methodology for testing new products on users, and they say that you have to really pay attention to how you word your questions and how you take the user through your prototype,
Right.
because you have this very strong influence on how it's being used, and so you
Yes.
can take it one way or the other,
Correct.
and you shouldn't be influencing it this way or too much.
Very true.
And then there's also doing it remotely, which is more, I think, most common, especially with our team, where we have to interview users. The last people we interviewed were French people, and so first of all, there was this language barrier, so you have to find a solution to that. And then you're doing it remotely. So there are softwares out there that we've used that are very useful there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's one of those parts of design that doesn't necessarily get overlooked, but it's right at the front. It's important to get right. So I always think it's good to info share with that.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, and one other pain point that you mentioned was
Tipping amount.
tipping amount. Yes,
If you want
exactly.
to be baller, $100 right there.
Yeah.
Tipping
Customized tipping. Yeah.
Yes. Tipping. And yeah, one of the other things that we wanted to go over, do you remember what it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll just take you through another scenario.
Yes.
And then you tell us if it's like
Okay.
in very like implicit or if it comes to your mind. But let's say you're at this dark dining restaurant and you don't have cutlery.
Right.
And they're providing you with this like
Oh,
really
I
sticky dish. Your hands get dirty. What happens then?
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that because I figured maybe I'd like be wiping on the table, or on the napkins. But yeah, that'd be gross.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty gross.
So, given that we are live streaming on the topic of collaboration and prototyping, we thought we could have a voice prototyping feature going on
Nice.
here. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Seems like right up the
Hands-free
alley of
something.
a dark dining experience is to bring in voice. You know, we lose one sense, add another, express more with another. So maybe that's where design will go.
Yeah, and I think just one point that I want to touch on, like, we gave you a situation for you to kind of imagine and put yourself in, and we were really surprised that you actually caught the screen brightness, but you didn't catch the dirty hands because you weren't engrossed in
I
that
wasn't like
experience.
catching it. Yeah.
Exactly. And so a lot of these situations, if you can put the users in that experience, in that state, please do, because there will be things that they will miss when they're imagining themselves in that situation. So yeah, just want to point that out.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think we can focus more on like how we can tackle those pain points now and possible solutions that we can improve upon. So yeah, I think screen brightness, a typical solution to this is probably creating a dark theme for your machine, right? I think that's just a typical solution that has been a trend lately. So maybe you can possibly explore that as one of the solution for screen brightness.
Very possible. Very possible. And chat, we are almost 2 minutes, a minute out for the chat and win countdown,
Ooh.
and then we're going to be able to get you guys some cool stickers. We had a chat to win idea earlier. What was it? Something to chat about.
Numbers, something.
Yeah, how long you were in design
How long
for?
you've been in design for? Great.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that in about a minute. So that timer's going. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, so you have dark theme as one of your solutions.
Yeah, so for customized tipping, what can you offer? Offer an option to customize the tip. I think it's pretty straightforward. A lot of the times these things aren't straightforward and you have to kind of list out what are the potential explorations that you could do. And no project has unlimited resources, so you have to prioritize and say, okay, which one do we want to focus on? Which one would be most likely based on your assumptions? And you have to understand what assumptions that you're coming forward with too. So yeah, there's a lot of conversation around this. But yeah, for today, for customized tipping, we'll just say customize tipping option. Yeah, for the tipping screen. And lastly, dirty hands. Leo kind of gave a hint on that to use the voice interaction. So with the dark screen, dirty hands, just interact with the interface, I guess, just with your voice. So yeah, it's just voice interaction.
Great. I love your how we've gotten there. I love that you kind of pulled the direct pain points, and you got to prep a little bit for this, but this was kind of like a microcosm of what the process looks like in terms of like solution finding for Castlelab. So that's a pretty cool little intro how you guys work.
Yeah.
Speaking of work, we're at Chat to Win. You guys, let us know in the chat how long you've been in design, how many years, and we'll be right back. So how long have you guys been in design, would you say?
I was
many
born
years?
with design.
Ooh, I love it. Forever a designer.
Yeah.
We got tomorrow's 8 years of designer. Congrats. Almost to 10. Almost there.
That's a long time.
Yeah, man. When you're at 10 years, what do you even call? You're like a guru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be on this stream.
Yeah. Johanna, 2 years. We got 1 year, 5 years.
20 years.
20 years. Wow. I've been designing my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came out the womb designing.
Just give you my age, right?
Kurt, 20 plus years.
Wow.
Shout out, Kurt. You are an all-star. 8 years in design. How long do you think someone should be in design before they call themselves, or before they could feel, is a good practice to feel like you are a designer? 1 year in
tough
design,
one.
2 years in design,
That's-
1 month in design? You can even be 1 month in design and I would call you a designer, but
That's true. I think it really depends on your process.
Yeah.
It's very individual and personal.
Wayne, congratulations. You've just won 100 Sticker Mule stickers.
Oh, it's Wayne. Yes.
Nice.
3x3.
Congrats,
Have them
Wayne.
be whatever you want. You're gonna be amazing. Maybe it's just of your baby photos. Oh, that would be a fun 100 stickers of your baby photo.
Oh,
and
no.
Just slap them everywhere. Everyone in the chat, you have also won Adobe Live 20, gets you 10 for $1, I believe. And congratulations, everyone. And we're getting back. We're back to Castlelab.
Yeah.
Why did you name yourself Castlelab?
Oh.
Okay, so originally we were called Web Creative, which is a fairly standard name for if you want to do design and you're
Yeah.
in the web industry, you know.
Yeah,
combine
I think
those
I've
two
seen
words.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went towards Castlelab when we wanted to target the real estate market. So we were looking for that one word that could relate back to the idea of real estate, of building infrastructure. So that was the one. And lab was for experimenting with
Love that.
real estate.
Yeah.
And so we haven't changed the name since. And it's been fitting so far,
Yeah,
I think, even though we don't do real estate agents or companies anymore as much. But
Well, you know, at this point now you have this like castle. It almost feels very mythical. Now
Yeah.
you're in this whole different space of where you can head with it. But I
Yeah.
love the lab part. That's great.
yeah.
I was wondering about that. Well, thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of illustrations and animations, and more to come actually next week on our website that will fit in within the same theme. So really excited about that.
Nice. Well, we'll definitely check back in with you guys. Well, cool.
Great. Yeah, let's just continue with where we left off. So yeah, we discussed the pain points and the improvements that we can implement. And so that's actually where we're going to start off. So yeah, implementing the dark theme, customized tipping option, and voice interaction. So yeah, I think we can just pretty much have this as a note on the side and use the prototype that we've created, that you have interacted with as a basis, and start creating from there. And yeah, Leo, do you actually want to start creating and sharing your screen with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do
You can pick one of the three. Which one do you want to tackle first? And then we work through that.
Let's go with custom tipping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so how do I share my screen? Oh, it's already there? Oh,
It's up there.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we have right now, which is a duplicate of the square interface for tipping, I believe. So the first thing we noticed, or Alexis noticed, is we cannot add a custom tip here. So any number we'd like to tip. So the first thing we'll do is we'll duplicate this. Right there. And yeah, the first thing we can do is just have a button for custom tipping. Ooh.
And yeah, always duplicate your design. I think artboards are free, and so it's never gonna hurt you to have an iteration or just a history, a version history of where you kind of started, just to refer back. Or if you lost like a color, you can always come back to it. So that's how we work. And yeah, that's just a quick tip.
Duplicate, y'all. I love that. Artboards are free. It's so true.
And I think there's a lot of psychology involved here on this page when it comes to creating hierarchy. So I don't know, something we have the time to cover, but Yuki studied psychology quite a bit.
Yeah, I
Right,
do.
so-
That's actually my background, where I came from. Yeah.
Yeah, so right here we have numbers going from the highest to the lowest. So I don't know what kind of if that creates any issue when it comes to encouraging a user towards a certain action instead of another. Which one is more ethical? Depends which perspective you're taking, whether it's the customer or the restaurant. Right? So here it sounds like we are encouraging to tip the highest amount 25%.
Yeah.
And yeah, the lower.
Well, to touch on that, like
Yeah.
my psychology self is coming back. But yeah, this is actually called anchoring. So you anchor the first, people typically anchor to the first information that they see. And here, the first option is 25%. And so that's the baseline that people would start from. And so, as Leo said, it's the first thing that they see. They might click on it, but now they have to dig through other options to see if that fits their need. But this is going to be the anchor, 25%. And so at this point, it feels a little bit difficult to go down further and further.
Right.
So yeah, you have
So
to.
people will generally, out of just convenience, hit that first anchor point.
Yeah.
But also mentally have that number in
Exactly.
their head, right? So it's a great selling point also when it's like, well, you know, it could have been 25. What does it say about you that you're not tipping 25?
Yeah. I mean,
interesting.
15 is 10 below 25. That's like,
Yeah.
and where I'm from, 15 is normal. So this kind of pressures me to put at least like 20.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I think just as designers, we have to understand these implications.
Absolutely.
And how that might kind of influence the user's experience. So yeah,
That's great.
custom tip.
Yeah, so I guess this would be the intermediary step, which with an added button for custom tip. Do you think we should reorder them? Should we be thinking about whether custom tip should come at the bottom of the page? Because the no tip, the one at the very bottom stands out as opposed to the one at the bottom of the row. Of the list. So which perspective are we taking? Should we be the restaurant here? Should we be encouraging the custom tip?
Chat, do you have any thoughts about this? This is interesting. I definitely could probably want to take the customer side with this. This is a very customer experience focused experience, right? Remember, we have to go back to that original point. This is for a dark restaurant, right? So this screen's going to be like very overwhelming. It could be overwhelming theoretically.
Yeah.
So how to simplify that moment for them?
So if we're thinking about what are the most common options, I think the no tip comes in last. It's not very common to not tip at all. So given that the one at the bottom stands out, maybe we could have this one as a custom tip and the fourth option being the no tip.
I like that.
Does that
That's
make
nice,
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. And I guess from there we can go straight into the custom tip page, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm watching you.
Oh my. Okay, so the custom tip page. How is that going to work? I can leave that in the middle. So when it comes to custom tip, we are assuming the user is inputting a number. So we're thinking this will have a calculator or kind of the calculator interface.
Right.
So I can start building that already. So custom tip won't be there anymore. So can have this.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, why don't we talk about a little bit around like what are some things that kind of got you guys into it? So sounds like you had background in psych,
Yeah, psychology.
which is really
Well,
cool.
Cognitive systems, it's understanding how the brain works. And so behavior is part of, behavioral psychology is part of psychology. So yeah, I think a lot of it,
I think a lot of it overlaps into the work, I
Exactly,
guess.
yeah.
And it sounds like that's a big part of your guys' approach as well. So do you use that a lot? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an asset. It's not like,
Here's a good question. Some people always ask in the chat, like, instead of should you know how to code to be a good UX designer, should you know psychology to be a good UX designer?
of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we
would you
actually had
think?
this discussion like with the code as well. Just in general, as a designer, it doesn't hurt to learn about other people's discipline.
Right.
If you have the resources and the time to do so, feel free, whether it's psychology, whether it's coding. I think it never hurts to do so. And yeah, like me coming from the background, I'm able to leverage those knowledge in these unique situations that you can't really plan for. And so yeah, I find that these experiences are actually helpful in unique situations.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Voodoo Val asks a question. What would you say your go-to tools are in XD as you're designing?
Ooh.
Good
So,
question.
what do you mean by tools? As
Like-
in what we have on the left side of the panel? Plugins?
Maybe plugins. Do you guys use any plugins?
Yeah, so I don't know if we have
Yeah.
any installed right now, but I like to use the plugin that lets you generate photos. It comes in very, very handy. There's one for accessibility.
Yeah, we're actually going to use that today.
Yeah.
I think it's called Color Checker. And yeah, we'll show that in a little bit when we're making that dark theme. But yeah, that's one of the things that I use the most often, just because when you are making screens, you have to make sure that it meets the standards, WCAG standards. So I'm always checking for that color contrast. But yeah, that's going to come a little bit later
Right.
today
Yeah,
as well.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, but as for Voodoo's question, what are my go-to tools? I think it gets a little bit deeper, but my actual go-to tool that I probably press the most is the rectangle tool. The reason for that is I like to create things quickly, and I like to wireframe. I don't even round the corners. I just want to
Just get it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like put things in layers, kind of where things should be, what things should be there on each screen. And so I actually click the R button for the shortcut for a rectangle tool quite frequently. So yeah, that's probably my go-to tool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a friend who said, who was describing, or I wasn't a friend, maybe it was on someone on Twitter. Maybe it was one of the
Everyone on
XD
Twitter
people on
is your
stream. Everyone on Twitter is my friend.
Yeah.
I have lots of friends. They were saying they described their job as a UX designer to a Lyft driver, and they were saying like, the Lyft driver repeated the job back to them. They're like, so you basically like make squares and then little squares to go in the squares. Or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't remember whose tweet it was, but I was like, wow, that's literally it. That's the majority of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of squares. And a lot of gray squares probably
In fact,
right
that's
off the
what
bat.
Leo's doing right now.
Literally making
Within
squares.
squares.
Squares
I'm trying to
within a
make this,
square, within another square.
Yeah,
within,
trying to make this calculator interface. Again, I'm not paying attention at all to the styling. That will probably come in tomorrow or at the end of today's session. So we're focusing on the UX right here. And yeah, so the first question that comes to mind is, if you're inputting a custom tip, so let's say, would you like to input a percentage or a dollar amount?
That's the thing. I think when you're at the point where you're doing a custom, I feel like a dollar amount would be, you're at that point already, versus you've had the idea with percentages right the screen prior, right? You're like, oh, I can do a 25, a 15, a 20, but now it's like, if you're hitting custom, it's like, no, I want this specific, I want to tip $1, $1.50. That's my take. I'm not necessarily
That's
the
actually
user.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking more
Yeah.
of towards the standpoint of maybe when they want to custom tip, they might choose between, because we had 5% increments, maybe somewhere in between
Okay,
each of those.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely valid where someone might say, oh, because of these percentages and it's odd numbers when
Yeah.
you convert it to actual prices or a dollar amount, you might just want to just press a dollar amount, like $5 per se. And
That's
so,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm a really good edge case. Because I tend to like to, I say this on other streams, I really like to go at the edge to the breaking point
Yeah.
of things. It's my favorite thing to do. Is like, what can this not do? Yeah, so I'm an edge case for sure. But yeah, sometimes any ways to make it faster and easier, I think, is the main point here
Absolutely.
with this
Yeah.
this product.
And actually, there's
And a suggested toggle option, possibly. Give the user
yeah.
the option.
definitely.
Yes.
Ooh,
We could do that.
that's definitely an option for tomorrow. We're actually playing around or discussing that before the stream as well. But yeah, it's definitely an option to have a toggle. And so yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit about making these decisions, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because we have the option of, do we just go default to the price in dollar amount or the percentage for the custom tip? Which one should we choose? I think a lot of the times in-house, when we are discussing with other designers in the same project, we just have these discussions and kind of brainstorm what would be the best solution for now.
Yeah.
And we would actually have to kind of write it down as a to-do when we actually test it out in the
Right.
field. And testing it out, it's not as easy as asking a person, should it be a percentage or should it be, I think especially for this case, we should be observing them. Say, we shouldn't even force them to say custom tip, because they might just pick a random number, or the amount isn't as valuable or intuitive to them. But if we just give them a situation where they need to custom tip, which one do they kind of resort to? If we kind of say the default is the dollar amount, and we find that more people had to kind of toggle back to the percentage, then I think that's how we will make our decisions.
So it's about So you're going the route of observing in the fields, in the wild. This is a really interesting, because you have a lot of conventions that you could pull from, but because they're putting in this situation is very different and very, very strange. How do you account for that? And so there's so many different research techniques and methods.
Exactly.
And to range from. And Thano saying, I swear people who studied psychology are always the best designers. They have a deeper understanding on human interaction and behavior.
I appreciate that, yeah.
That's some kudos if I've ever seen any.
Actually, a lot of people in my program are going into UX just because they have this interest in how behavior is formed and how people make decisions. UX design is actually a field where a lot of people find interest and actually go into from my field.
Absolutely. So it actually probably started, I think, more in cognitive sciences than design, UX specifically. So, I'm just, coding, are you going to go in and learn how to code, or are you going to read a book on how someone chooses something? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do designers need for the future?
That's true.
What do UX designers need for the future, guys?
Okay, so we are almost done with the pretty much like the overall layout of what the calculator should be like. We have just the basic numbers. We have the delete. We have the accept. But I guess what we're missing here is, should we recap the bill amount in the first place? Does it belong on this page? Then we have to decide if we should show the total of the original bill plus the tip you're inputting. Should that be dynamic depending on what you type into the calculator? And then again, the toggle. Do we want to implement that right now?
I think we could just have an option where you say, for example, let's say 18%.
Yeah.
And it will just show you the dollar figure somewhere on the screen. And you have the option of just clicking somewhere to toggle in between. I think that'll be a fun feature just to have it there, just the bare bones, so that we can work on it tomorrow to really convert it to hi-fi. But yeah, I think that's definitely a must. And a lot of people have been kind of requesting that. So
Seems like that's a big solution for a lot of people in the chat.
Yeah.
Greetings, Cornelia. Anyone who's just joining the chat, hello. We're here on Behance, Adobe Live, with Castlelab. Today's portfolio submission day. Join us.
Yeah, submit your portfolio. We'd love to see them, Empathy, Shantanu, thank you for shouting that out.
Shout out empathy. More empathy shout outs in the chat, please. That would be just randomly, just empathy. That would be my dream chat. You're always a dream chat. Don't worry. I love you all. But shout out empathy more, because that's kind of key to this job, right? This is the thing a lot of people forget, that you can get really tied up and mixed in with designing. When the reality is it's not about designing, it's about choice making, really, and solving problems.
Definitely.
So, designing is important, and we love a good design. Want everything to fit perfectly and beautifully. But if the solution isn't solving a problem, is it a solution? Does it work? Is it going to be used?
It's beautiful. That's what it is.
It's beautiful. It's art.
Yeah.
It's art. Awesome. Empathy designer. Ooh, that's a cool title.
Wow.
I do love that.
Maybe I should change my job title.
It's empathy designer?
Yeah.
Empathic designer?
Designer.
Instead of because now it's interactive design. So it's UX designer, interaction designer, empathic designer. That sounds like very spooky for some reason.
Very.
Well, awesome.
All right. Okay. What else should we have here?
We have to have another number for percentage. So I think right now you can change that 77.2 on the calculator. We're just calling it calculator now, but we can just put that as let's say $10. And then we'll have a smaller font, I guess, that indicates the percentage of that. Do you want to add that? Maybe
Sure. Where do you want to put that?
Maybe just like half the font size next to, on the right of the 77.2. Or actually, yeah, well, the other 77.
This one right here?
No, actually
Next
on
to
the
it?
bottom one, yeah. Let's just try that. I can actually make
Do
these.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Collaboration.
there's a collab
Yeah.
feature on XD. Let's see if
So translates.
do you guys use the collab feature a lot?
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, we because we're remote, we have to.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's right. You guys are remote. Thanos says empathy engineer. That's
Ooh.
for some reason I feel like they'd get paid more.
Okay, I'll let you
Awesome.
play with this, Yuki,
Yeah.
and I'll look into the other screens.
Faisal, hopefully I said that right. Can you please make the tick button green? Interesting.
Ooh.
Why green? Tell us why.
Mm.
Maybe if you make a case for it, the designers will consider.
Now, like because of the situation that we're picking, is green the right color?
Yes.
Yeah. Dark mode, don't forget that will come in later on, is depending on the shade of green again. From my understanding, you have to use desaturated colors for dark mode. So you gotta be careful to what shade of green and what green you choose. It can't be too bright. Yeah. So let's see. Let's keep it like this for now because we're not touching styling, and we'll consider it as soon as we go into dark mode. Right?
Cool.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm just gonna scroll back down.
So let's switch it to Yuki screen. Perfect.
Awesome. So yeah, we tackled custom tipping option, and yeah, I think. Let's see. I'll leave the voice interaction to you because you've played around a lot with that. You actually had a project around voice interaction, so I'll
Cool.
leave that off to Leo. So yeah, we're just gonna tackle a little bit about dark theme and convert all these colors. And we're gonna consider the green as well. We'll see how that looks. But yeah, let's just start right away from just converting the colors into dark mode. How would I?
There we go. You guys, a quick tutorial on dark mode, which is very popular right now. You're gonna make a lot of people very happy with this.
Yeah, I've seen this trend of where people are even for personal websites and portfolio websites,
Yeah.
they have this option now at the very bottom, at the very top, where they let you switch and toggle on dark mode, which is great.
Do you prefer light or dark mode? Do you have a preference?
I have everything by dark mode by default. So
go.
I'm actually
really?
wondering, does XD have a dark mode?
They do not.
They do
you're,
not.
Yeah, hopefully the chat doesn't hear you say that because it usually stirs up quite a
Ooh.
conversation. Yes, they do not right now. Maybe in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a big topic of discussion.
But yes,
Uh-oh.
YouTube,
Yeah,
dark mode.
I know. Paco, we won't. Hopefully they didn't hear it. But you yourself prefer dark mode on things because do you have a reason or you like the way it looks? Or?
It works both ways. It works when it's day and
Love
it works
that.
when it's night.
I
You
love
know.
that. It's true. It's true.
And
It's
it's just
easier
the
on the eyes.
Yeah, and it's just the idea of also this refresh, going from one style to another, because you're used to this day theme and you've been using it forever. So just changing the layout and the looks of it, it's a good refresh.
It is.
know,
It is a really good refresh for the eyes, for everything.
I actually have an opinion about that. And
Oh,
fairly-
I want to hear both for
it's
sure.
it's more from the psychology standpoint again,
course.
and more towards biology. But yeah, I
Biology?
think yeah,
Wow.
because how
Please.
our eyes work.
Oh, wow.
And so whenever, like you said, if you see a bright screen in a dark situation, it's bad, and it's the same when you're in a bright room and you see a dark screen. It's still bad for your eyes.
Oh.
And so when people overuse dark mode in a light situation, your eyes is stressed a little bit more so that you'll be able to distinguish between the shades of gray. And so actually using it in bright daylight, dark mode, is probably not the ideal situation to use it in. But I haven't done all the research into this, but this is my opinion.
Oh my goodness. Well, you can't argue with biology, people.
Yeah.
I know, I made the research, but I mean, maybe screens just aren't the best for our eyes.
That is another
Just generally.
opinion, yeah.
But so maybe the future is voice.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Ooh.
future is more haptic.
Perhaps.
Maybe to save our eyes, we'll be looking at less less of these types of screens at least, where it's like kind of, the backlit, and really, and having to focus in. And, a lot of our screens are still pretty small.
Yeah, that's true.
So kind of you're always readjusting your eyes. So points to be made about dark mode, points to be made about light mode. Both great to look at, but only in certain times.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was wondering, as with my just last week, I had a discussion with my coworker regarding how much time we all spend on average looking at the screen per day, and I've come to a point where honestly, it's reached like a ridiculous amount.
It's a ridiculous amount.
Easily double digit.
How often we all look at screens,
right?
Yes.
And so I was wondering if anybody was using glasses, specialized glasses for screen
blue blocker.
viewing.
Actually, yeah.
The blue blocker glasses.
Does that work, and what kind of effect does it have?
Oh, man.
'Cause I don't see many people wearing them, actually.
Really? Oh, wow. I guess, I think it ranges. I definitely use them. I know a lot of people that do. For me, it was, I kept getting a migraine when I would go home. And I bought some from some, dealer that has them, like a Warby Parker-esque type place, and just threw them on. No prescription, just blue blocker. And the next day, I noticed like I was sitting up better. Like it helped. The point is, like, it helped. I didn't have as many migraines. I mean, like, to each his own, everyone, definitely. But for me, it helped. I don't wear them every day, but I'll wear them often. I usually wear them actually on the stream.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I don't actually use glasses. That was a really big share. I'm so. but they're blue blockers, and I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5, 6 screens right now. So, yeah, it's amazing how often we are looking at screens. So, do you think the future of UX is in screens?
I think a big part of the future of UX is actually in VR and AR.
Oh.
Which
hot take.
Is it a screen? It's.
I guess it would be depending on where you would see this VR and AR.
Yes.
So in cars, it's not really a screen. Everywhere else, I guess there'd be some type of screen. But you think it's in VR and AR, and why?
I think so. I think we're coming to a point where we have the technology to create a much more immersive experience, and I think the screens were here they were the first kind of I think the first instance of this movement towards immersion and making you feel like you are somewhere else.
Yep.
Right? So I think it's a natural step. I don't know if it's necessarily good, but it's got its pros.
Right. Wow. Hot take. Sure. Hot take on the future of UX, and what do you think what do you think designers are going to need to know for the future of that?
Yeah.
Where do you think their attention should be spent?
I know that Adobe has this wonderful software for creating VR and AR experiences. I forgot the exact name of it, but it's one of their products in their suite of all these softwares. And we had this demonstration on Adobe Max in front of all these spectators, and that person live on stage was able to create a very short a augmented reality experience in less than 20 minutes.
Right.
They had a bird flying around, and it was incredible.
And they were viewing it through their phone?
They were viewing it through their phones or the iPad.
Yeah, there's something to be said about all the VR and AR coming forth, and how I think we're gonna have to see a lot of the actual more hardware changes before that can be fully immersive into our world. I love that. I love that immersive is a part of your guys' kind of like ethos as well. Immersive type, and you're also dealing with an immersive experience here. I mean, just that the dark dinners. That's an immersive experience in itself, which is a whole nother stream and a whole nother show.
Definitely.
But if only an XD's getting close. I mean, voice. Being able to prototype with voice is a big step forward into immersive experiences.
Oh yeah, Jack with the answer here. Adobe Aero.
Yep. Adobe Aero.
Okay, so just about this stream a little bit more. I believe one of you mentioned in the chat that having a green button for this checkbox might be a good idea. I think I put in a very light green for now, just to see if that's going to be an option. If the chat thinks that this might be too light, too dark, too anything, if you have any opinions about that, please let us know. But I'm just going to continue with the other screens for now. But what do you guys think, actually, the green buttons?
Well, before you had the white check, so now it's changed to black.
Is it better?
Oh.
I think it's much better,
Yeah, because
yeah.
the white is a little too light for
Yeah.
this already light green.
Yeah.
So change
So
to
that
black.
helped. That was
and-
helpful. Yeah, it'd be interesting. You know, this is another thing. It's like it'd be interesting to see in the wild, and to be used. You know, like are these colors, are these differences between that gray and the dark gray enough of a contrast for someone to see?
Let's actually check that.
Possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can we check that?
Yeah, about that plugin. So it was called Stark, and under that option we have check contrast, and you have to select the layers that you want the foreground and the background to be. Once you press on that, oh,
Ooh, too many layers.
too many layers. I'm just gonna select this one then. Yeah, so actually, it doesn't even reach the contrast for AA. So yeah, that's not good.
There you go. Yeah.
And I think that's a definite answer. But I've also read opinions about whether we should strictly follow these rules or not. And because like our vision and how lighting works and the environment that you're in, it's not always the same. And so we should take more of these standards as guidelines rather than a strict rule. And so I've heard that opinion as well. But as for today, we're just gonna make that a little bit brighter. And should we just keep the green, or should we just go straight to grayscale actually?
Maybe we should keep the green for the chat's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, these are technically your wireframes almost, right? I mean, you're designing, you're changing them, you're editing them, but you know, you're also going to be applying an actual. There you go.
Yeah. So we
Look at
did barely meet that standard. So yeah, which is great. So yeah, we're just gonna continue with other screens.
Nice.
But yeah.
Actually, just stay on this one.
Sure.
Somebody did point out to whether we should have the logo on there, but if it's not the logo, what about the back button? If you just did not want to, like you just made a mistake and you pressed custom tip, where in fact you wanted to choose one of the original tipping windows, so you'd have a cancel or go back button somewhere, right? And then possibly the title to this page, something like custom tip, right?
Okay. We can add that text.
There you go. The collab. The collab is on.
Oh, tip. And we can center it.
Yeah, back button's important. Back button always gets gets forgotten.
It does.
Like it's very common from a lot of these streams I've seen. They're like, I forgot the back button.
Yeah.
And be like, wow, it's one of those last things people notice. Because you're kind of like designing while you think of the flow, right? You're like doing the flow as you design, right? You're like, well, I'm gonna keep moving forward with this flow, right? It's like, no, you should always go back.
Sure.
Very cool. And you can see the collab literally happening within the screen. That's pretty great.
Just gonna make a simple button here. Oh.
Yeah. So anyone who's just joining us, welcome. We're here with Castlelab. We are creating a new way of experiencing tipping for meals specifically in a situation where there's low lighting. In this really fun scenario, we're in a dark dining experience. So maybe it's pitch black. And I think we all would appreciate a redesign for a lot of the payment systems out there, just generally. In about 25 minutes, if you guys haven't heard, we're doing a portfolio review. It's no big deal. It's just getting your portfolio reviewed by Castlelab. No big deal.
We're very excited to see.
They're very excited, and they got a lot of accolades, you guys. We gotta get your portfolios into these guys. You guys use Behance a lot to source and look for different artists and talent. You know, maybe here's another way. Checking out what the chat's got. You guys, I'm plugging you. I'm your I am the chat's hype man to your fellow designers. But yeah, you use Behance a lot for sourcing and
Absolutely. We did not expect to use Behance this much when it comes to talent sourcing and collaborating with other artists, but it's been such a pleasure. So there are these other platforms, you know, that let you find people with very specific needs, but Behance has been very resourceful when it comes to finding very genuine talent. And then you can also filter by people with
say more about
awards.
genuine talent.
Yeah, so
My little ears went up.
yeah, no, for sure. So it doesn't look like Behance is a platform it's not the platform where you post content to get hired. So people post it out of pure interest and passion for design.
Yeah.
Sharing what you do with other designers around the world, and this very genuine thoughts and intention, just shows the best out of people.
Yeah.
And so you have these awesome designs and people who are active on these platforms and are ready and reply back within a matter of a few hours on a comment of yours. And so, for example, very early on, we reached out to somebody over on Behance called Abdallah, who's from a graphic designer from Morocco.
Shout out to Abdallah.
Shout out to Abdallah, and
Nice.
he is an awesome graphic designer.
And you just kind of found through looking through Behance.
Yeah, we saw one of his
Wow.
works. We private messaged him, and then from there led to a very stable and long-term collaboration and relationship, where we still to this day work with Abdullah
Wow.
on projects, graphic projects and branding projects. So yes, wonderful people on there. So if you're interested in collaborating with us, just message us. We love new artists.
I love that. Wow. You guys, this is the stream. This is the stream. You're learning it all. We got some psychology.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hired. I can't promise all these things for you at once, but it's gonna happen. Well, awesome. Yeah. So you guys make sure to get your portfolios in so we can check them out.
Yes.
And that includes Behance. We also look through their Behance as well for their portfolio reviews. Sometimes they'll link both. So we'll check you guys out.
What about you, Alexis? What's your experience with Behance?
Oh, Behance. I'm not as active as I want to be on Behance, besides streams and talking to people. I think the community in Behance is fantastic.
Yes.
But me posting my work, a lot of my work actually I can't post. Yeah, I'm a little I'm a little hidden behind a wall of my company, but if I could, I would. So that just leads to doing more. You're right, it's totally a place to develop more of the artistry. So I think for me, using Behance is where you're like, I'm trying this out. How does this look? I'm trying out. This is just beautiful. It's not just, I think the case studies on Behance are wonderful, but for the most part, they're just a lot of beauty.
They are.
So-
That's very true.
I've seen some pretty amazing, beautiful work. It's hard for me to judge, though, how long you've been working on it. I don't know if it's, maybe that's a feature Behance can bring in, like how long was this project? Because some projects, I'm like, this was amazing. If you did this in a day, you're solid. But did it just take you half a year? Okay, well, that's fine. But so that for me, in terms of being a designer and sourcing other designers, is a big one. That's my only qualm.
No, I actually agree with that. There are a lot of great projects on Behance, and sometimes, if you're new starting out, you might not be able to break down like how things were built and how long each thing might take, and so going on there might give you some imposter syndrome as to like, okay, you might not be as good, but then if you're able to see that like, okay, it took them 3 months to do this, then I think that's a good feature to kind of.
Yeah, maybe it's something to be considered. And obviously, like, there's also ways and channels to get in if you are just starting. Quick plug to the stream you're watching right now. You know, this is a perfect place to kind of hone in those skills. And there, imposter syndrome is a thing. It's totally a thing, and it totally gets overwhelming when you look at the beauty of Behance. But there is the Adobe Creative Challenge. It comes in daily. To do it daily, just a little like exercise for yourself. It's almost like a daily UI challenge essentially, with a little more UX flair. And watching different streams helps. What do you think is a big thing for someone who's starting to remember a good practice for them to start honing in?
Yeah, I think for me, learning as a self-taught designer, because I was studying psychology, was building the people around you. So you have to have ways that you can seek for feedback, and you kind of have to make that iteration loop as quick as possible to improve as fast as possible. If you don't have the social infrastructure there ready for you to kind of learn as fast as possible, it depends on you to kind of be self-motivated to do that, and a lot of times it's more difficult. And so for me, it worked out in the sense that we have a club at UBC in our university called UBC UX Hub, where it's the first design club at the university, and it helps people kind of
Build their network.
Yeah,
Build
exactly.
their network, essentially.
Have friends that went through the same thing that you're trying to go through, and so building those situations, reach out to these social groups, just like this live stream. You can talk to us, and so yeah.
And who's president of the club?
Who's president of the club?
Me.
Oh, Mr. President.
Yeah, I mean, I advocate for that too.
Such an honor to be here with you.
But yeah,
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Because I got from these social groups, I want to give back to people in my university that want to kind of learn and get into this field as well.
I think you're absolutely right with that. Building your community around you, that's how you're going to get better.
Absolutely.
And, getting feedback for sure.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. And if you have the chance to still be in an environment that supports you like this with clubs and advisors, and I say you just take advantage of it. It doesn't come very often. So Castlelab was actually born out of a university incubator, and so we were able to work with students. They were the first people. They were the foundation of Castlelab. So. We reached out to the UX hub, and the person to answer was Yuki.
Wow, look at that. There you go.
That's true, yeah. That's actually how we met, or we first got in touch with each other.
Love it.
Yeah, because I was at this club as a marketing coordinator. I was the first one to receive all these external messages that come to our club messages, and he was looking for designers within the university who might be interested, and because we were a community, that's the first place that he looked for, and I was the first place to get that message. Of course, I shared it with other people, but I was also interested in it. And that's how,
I mean, hey, gotta intercept those messages. You know, it's important to be diligent with your emails. You just never know what you're gonna find. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Do you have any tips for kind of someone starting? Besides maybe building your community, some practices for early designers?
For sure. Well, again, just like on that collaboration, learn from the people around you, and you can find if they're not local, just find them over the internet. As weird as that sounds, like Reddit. There's a subreddit for web designers, UX designers. Empathy designers, I bet there's one. So reach out to them.
We should start that.
Reach out to them. And some of them are very open and willing to provide feedback and to mentor you. And I think that's super important.
And there's also, I mean, a quick plug for ours. The XD, the XD. Like everything around building Adobe Live is focused around building a community. So if you're looking for support, and maybe your school doesn't have one, maybe you're starting just by yourself out of the blue, there are these places. If you look above the chat, there's a tab called Portfolio Review, which will bring you to Discord, the actual Adobe Live Discord, which there's a community in place. There's people there. There's mentors. There's moderators. So not just people who are starting, people who have done it. And another shout out, portfolio reviews are in 15 minutes. So if you want some direct feedback today, because you think, I need to improve, I need that community, I want to reach out, now's your chance. And if you haven't before, go ahead and try. That's great, guys. Thanks for that.
Let's just continue with we have 15 minutes left, so let's just continue with our third improvement, voice interaction. So I think there's a little bit of interesting questions that we have to ask when we're navigating through this. And so let's just switch on to Leo's screen, and you can just start interacting with your voice. And I think, creating that prototype. One thing that I found, so when I design, I like to have my background music. And so I have speakers behind me and playing. I like jazz, so I listen to that a lot. But I have the background music going, and whenever I create voice interactions, and I have to hold the spacebar to activate my microphone, and it actually catches my voice most of the time. And a lot of times it's extremely reliable, even with the music in the background. I was really surprised when I kind of played around with this feature. So
and I guess that will help us with our scenario, which is that of a possibly crowded restaurant. And so if the voice prototype catches your voice through all that noise in the background, then it's going to be very useful, right? So
must have.
Somebody did point out in the chat earlier on about a possible flaw of using voice prototyping, which I found very smart, is is that there are matters of privacy. So let's say you want to tip a certain amount, you're saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Right?
Yeah. How do you work around that problem?
So I was
Or maybe
thinking,
maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good to pressure the people around you, being like, I'm going to tip 25, or like, God damn it, I got to tip 25.
You shout 25.
You shout out 25, 100% tip. I'm buying that guy dinner.
yeah, so that's one thing to take into account. And I guess one possible way to deal with it is to have maybe to have options. So like you'd give out the name of the option instead of the associated number. So you see on the screen, as long as you see on the screen the name of the option and then the following amount, then you can just name out the option.
Yeah.
And nobody else would know.
Right. And maybe it's a different, maybe they're randomly
Yeah.
generated each time, or like spaced each time, so that you don't know that option A is the best one, or option 1 is the 25%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll just start with the first one, which is pretty easy. There's only one option here, is it's confirming the total. So as I guess we'd have some kind of indication that voice prototyping is enabled.
But yeah.
Right.
Oh, this is exciting. I don't think I've ever seen on the stream someone do, on my streams that I've done, anyone use the voice prototyping feature in XD.
So
Yeah.
how would you call this? How would you tell the user that hands-free is available? How does Google Homes do it? Or like these like your Siri or
They'll
they say?
do a little microphone will pop up. It'll be like the screen goes into a microphone like mode. And then it has a little like say what you need, or
Say what you need.
or it'll have like a wavelength, a waveform to indicate that it's available.
Gotcha.
Or are you so for this screen it's like it's enabled, like you can talk now.
So
Right?
voice activation, voice command
throwing
is
out words.
enabled.
You throw out words.
That's great. I appreciate
That's how a lot of my friends are like, just throw out all the things that you're thinking and help me form this idea out.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of the times you just reflect what other designers are saying, and they slowly just digest that information, even if it's just what they already just said.
Right.
They kind of take that time to digest it, and then they'll just go away saying thank you, even though you didn't say anything, or
Right.
you just said what they just said,
Yeah.
and it clarified the situation for them. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah,
And do we have an icon for that? Do we have any icons in our
I can
file?
pull them up. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Paste it right above if you have one. And I'll start prototyping.
Nice.
Yeah.
Voice
Let's see.
command. Oh, I misspelled command.
Or a mic.
Oh, that's like my worst fear, and it just happened.
Misspelling something.
Misspelling something on live stream. Oh my god.
It's totally fine. You fixed it. That's the thing.
Okay, so
All right.
prototyping. Up there. Then, so if you go to the right sidebar, and so first you switch to prototype mode. You click on the element you'd like to interact with, right? And then from here you have different options. And the last one, which I think is a really cool feature, is voice. And it's really simple to use. I thought it'd be much more complex, where you would have to input a string of like several keywords and then account for certain scenarios. But no, it's simple and it's easy. So enter voice command here. So we can have confirm total.
All right.
All right, and then transition. We can have auto animate, I guess. And then tip screen, ease out.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite features in XD is prototyping. How simple it can. They've created it for all different forms.
Yeah.
And for voice, yes, you can create different scenarios. Like maybe they're not going to say that phrase perfectly, but that's not the point. The point is you're just like, it's like anything, even for small graphics, small animations. It's like, yes, this could be very much honed in After Effects, but I just want to show proof, and that's perfectly what this voice prototyping does for voice interactions.
I think when it comes to handing it off or presenting it to the stakeholders you're designing for, very useful. We've had stories where people believe that it had been entirely built just for that presentation, when in fact it was the prototyping view. So that's really cool.
Smoke and mirrors.
Exactly. I read somebody about faking it. It's all about pretending like it's there. It's an illusion.
It's just to show that it could be a thing, and that's all a prototype is.
Yep.
is the show proof of it. Smoke
Yeah.
and mirrors all the way. I'm a big fan of that.
So let's try it right now.
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
So let's turn this on. So I believe you press the touch bar or the, what do you call this?
Spacebar.
Space bar.
Touch bar.
And then you speak. So we have confirm total. And boom.
Awesome. Wow.
Well,
So
I'll
not
see you guys
like
later.
it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Drop the mic.
Drop it. That's great. And it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
So I guess on to the next screen.
No, actually,
No?
you have to write some other text as well, because it's not just confirm total. It might just be confirm, or it might just be other words like
Ooh.
next page, and so we have
Right.
to accommodate for that. I think that's one of the unique things of voice. It's not just a button or like a pixel. If it's outside of the button border, then it's not going to do anything. If it's within, it's very binary. But for voice, there are a lot of options that you can say to do the same task. So, yeah, do you want to accommodate for that?
For
as well?
sure. So how would you go about this? Would you create a separate, like a duplicate?
You can just drag the plus button.
Another one?
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
Another instance.
Wonderful.
exactly. 'Cause you
Okay,
can-
so we'll go with
That's kind of how
confirm.
they actually create it. That's how they actually make it when you're in like when you're actually creating a voice app for Google. What is it? Or
Oh.
Echo or like
I actually don't know
back
that.
in the yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
TensorFlow is in one. So there's like that's kind of it's just different scenarios, yeah, and you're just kind of
Makes
like
sense.
creating a script through them.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you bring in AI, and then it's like, no, what do you mean? But like in terms of like the
Yeah.
classic, turn off the lights, turn on the lights. You know, there's like 7, 8, 9 different ways you can say that. And when voice started, that's kind of all you had to do was like go through those, and
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of like walking and being like, I feel tired. How can my, you know, and then it's like the AI being like, oh, well, tired, they mean this.
Keyword, yeah,
Maybe I
yeah.
should turn the lights down.
Yeah.
Not that. That's not what we're prototyping to, guys. It's just simple, boom, boom, boom.
So right now we have confirm total. We have confirm. We have confirm amount. And what about a fourth one?
What's some
Yes.
edge case?
Like
oh,
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
I'm
is very
telling you,
edgy.
if you need an edge case, I'm your girl.
Wow. Okay.
I will always be like, yes. What happens
That's actually
now?
true, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try it out.
Because you have to account for there being a waiter. Maybe the waiter's walking them through it a little bit too.
So Alexis, would you like to say yes?
I'm
Are you ready?
nervous, but yes. Yes.
Oh,
Edge case.
yeah.
Just call me edge case. That's awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, and I think we're gonna actually play around with. It does get a little bit more complicated when there are multiple options on the same screen,
Absolutely.
especially on this tipping screen. So yeah, I mean, we can actually play around with it. Do you want to do that?
Sure. Like you mean
Yeah.
voice command for the tipping screen?
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
each of them. It's gonna be a lot of work, so we can just split some of them.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just say I'll do the no tip one, and then you can do the rest.
Sure. Sure.
Giving you all the work.
Well, I don't think we should do all the options, like for all the tip percentages. So maybe we can choose, because if we prove it once, then most people don't understand that it would work for
Yeah,
most
yeah.
numbers, right? So we could choose. I'll choose one of those.
Actually, I was thinking, if it's voice, do you even need an option? Can you just say 18%?
So that's a really good point.
I think.
But we're going back to the privacy thing around like, do we want to say those numbers out loud?
Yep.
Yes.
So should we convert these to options and then
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea.
have them out next to them?
Oh, how about it's just like excellent,
Ooh.
Okay. Met
Me
expectations.
I
gusta.
like
It's
that.
kind of like a grade, but
I mean, again, the whole privacy thing, but I'm for that. Personally, I'm all
Yes.
about behavior changes. I think it's really fun to play with that. To be able to make someone say out loud how they feel about something, maybe in front of the person who's serving them. We're far away from that generally now. Now everyone, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to show anyone that you're tipping them or not tipping
Yeah.
them. But here, maybe in this case, a part of this situation is you have to be straightforward about it.
Yep, I like
Yes,
it.
good.
Let's go with that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
that's fun. That's really cool.
So do you want me? I'll make a duplicate just in case.
All right, guys, we're almost 5 minutes till portfolio reviews, and I think we're gonna be going to space for it, you guys. Are you guys
Ooh.
fans of
I've
space?
never been there. Yeah. Have you?
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like a couple times, but like, yeah,
It's no big
big
deal.
deal. It's not a big deal. Is it? But yeah, so I think we'll be going to space for it.
Yeah.
You guys, you like jazz? You like space as well? Space jazz?
They come in together.
Oh,
Jazz in
course.
space.
jazz in space.
Also, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cornelian says, "I love smoke and mirrors." Lol. Also, we love smoke and mirrors. Love them. Someone also shouted out TikTok again, in all caps.
Oh, that was
And
Luke.
I
Luke.
think,
I
that's a direct shout out
Yes.
to you. Right.
TikTok.
So are you gonna do you should do a little, do you know all the TikTok dances?
Oh no.
Most of
them?
them?
I will not do one right now.
Wow.
Because this will be forever on the internet, from my understanding.
So, yeah.
And then I imagine in 20 years' time, TikTok will not be trending. And so,
Of course it is.
always.
Yeah, always.
All these tools, they have an end. They have.
Don't worry, you guys. We'll get a TikTok dance out of them, maybe. Maybe with the helmet on. Helmet on
Ooh.
full.
They'll never see your face.
Okay, that's true. Okay, let's start with this.
Yeah.
Voodoo Val, love space. We love space too, girl. We're going.
So, what's the best compliment you could give?
Oh.
Oh, wow. Well, is excellent the best?
Should it be the best?
I don't know.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Oh.
Just never, ever have I had. No, I'm just kidding. How about I think excellent's a safe word to use.
Yeah?
Huh. I think we've actually.
You could do it by star ranking. 5-star, 4-star, 3-star.
Ooh.
That's pretty common around restaurants. Or stars, thank you, Michelle, actually, stars.
I
I
think.
like all those options.
I think it might be best to move forward with stars, just because there's a little bit of a gray area between each of them. If it's like excellent, good,
Yeah.
okay.
Perfect.
What if
else
it's
is
like,
perfect?
yeah, what if it's perfect? Is that the first one or the second one? And so there's that ambiguity
Yeah.
there. And
That's a
then-
fun project to do generally, but
Yeah.
maybe right now the stars are the best.
Yeah.
I guess so. Okay.
So best would be 5 stars? Yes.
So you would have the keyword, and then the number of stars, and then the amount. That might be too much. Might be
true.
too much.
How about excellent, good, all right,
Okay.
or fine?
Fine.
Fine is a good safe
And what,
word.
what percentage would be associated to fine?
Fine's fine feels like a 10% tip.
10%.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Huh. Okay. So let's start with you said excellent or best?
Let's go with excellent.
Excellent. Okay. So that's going to be 25%.
Excellent, great, fine.
Yeah.
Got
There
it.
you go. Love it. Love it.
Let's change this.
You can
to
use
some
fork
regular.
icons. You don't use forks. It's all hands. Hands in this
Yeah.
restaurant.
This bunch of hand icons. Give them a character you're supposed to. Super tipper. That's interesting.
You could give yourself a profile, like it's a persona of tipper. You have.
That's true.
That's interesting.
And then you could have more advanced feedback for the restaurant and the service. You could rate the food as opposed to the service, and then let them know which was best and which to improve upon.
I love that. And I actually like that we're using the words instead of stars right now, the more I think about it, because
Feels more
stars are
human.
too arbitrary.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
I've literally, even my lift here, I was like, I just feel weird rating someone like this still.
And I think Uber actually has this, I don't know if they got rid of it, but at some point they had words like compliments. You could give a compliment to the driver.
That's even better.
So yeah.
I like that.
think it's
We're
great.
humanizing it.
Yeah.
Empathy. Someone shout out empathy in the chat.
It's not 33.
But yeah, I think a lot of these.
Anna makes a point. A user might think something is excellent, but just can't afford to give a 25% tip. This is good. This is a really good thought experiment.
That's true.
I think we could probably go. This is a whole thing.
Yeah.
And this is
definitely.
great. But maybe just those simple words. So you
Okay,
can prototype them.
let's continue with
Yeah.
that.
And we'll definitely let you guys. You can keep prototyping as we're checking out portfolios. But we got about 5 seconds until this rocket ship takes off to outer space,
Ooh.
and we listen to some really smooth space jazz. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, let's
Let's
go.
do it.
Okay. So now they. You guys. Wow, that was a crazy ride. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a lot.
That was super fast.
That was really fast. I think the air is good. The air, I just did an air reading. We're good, so you don't need to keep them on. But I'm just gonna take that off. Air's fine.
Oh, I can breathe.
You can breathe. Welcome to
Just
space,
pass this
everyone.
on to you. Thank you.
Welcome to space. It's great here. Whew. I love it. I love the space. We're here. We're going to review some portfolios. The first portfolio we're going to review is, I really hope I can say
Wow.
this name, Olatade. Olatade?
Sounds
Oh,
about right.
today? Yeah.
Great name. Let's check out your Behance, and then maybe we can switch over to your personal site. First view. How are you guys vibing?
Ooh, I really love the diversity here and the type of work that he has.
I like that last project, like the most recent one. There's some nice
This one?
aesthetics.
Okay, so we could pick two. Maybe we dive into. So maybe we'll dive into this one, and
Let's see.
maybe we find another one. So this looks like more of a UX UI.
We can do the landing page too.
This one, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do the first two. Awesome.
Great.
So, but right off the bat, we definitely can see you
Yeah.
have your personality come through with your cover. Good range of project types. We know you can, you have yourself named you're a UX UI designer, but also media, artistic relation manager. Okay.
Wow.
This is good. We're getting that vibe. We're getting a good diverse vibe from your portfolio right off the bat.
Ooh,
Starting with, you guys have the same reactions.
video.
Yeah,
Love
video.
videos, yeah.
To space. Fits the theme.
Very topical. All right.
So you start off.
Very
Nice.
cool.
Great.
Nice animation.
Oh,
Oh.
interesting. Huh. That's really fun.
Good chart. You should look at Charlotte in the
I
chat.
love it. Okay, and then we have height. This is great playing with these animations, so you can see you have like a good
Wow.
range of what you can do. Cool. Very cool video.
Mm.
We have a little mock-up.
Very
It's
clean.
very clean. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Very clean. Very, very clean. Yeah. Those AirPods.
It's
AirPods.
like an Apple ad.
Very true. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, it's a simple app.
It's a simple
it does
app.
its job, yeah.
BMI calculator does. I think that video is probably one of the stronger things to kind of be. So those animations are really important that you've created.
Oh.
I just clicked out just so I could see if there was any other. I would have to say, it's an XD project specifically, so we know that you made an XD. That's great. Work on your case study a little bit more.
Yes.
I want to know. I think you have a great start with your mock-up. I can see it. How do you feel about the floating screen? No phone.
It's
It's edgy. It's cool.
It is cool.
It's
How important?
I like it.
How important is it to have a project be shown in context for you guys as looking at someone's Behance?
I think Behance deserves, like, each project deserves a good mix of contextual images and just things for fun, like just aesthetics.
Yeah.
And I think this fits more in the aesthetics category.
Sure does. Yep.
So definitely needs more information and background to why you did this and who's the audience. Maybe coming back to user testing, were you able to get a hold of anyone and was this built for a specific audience and a specific purpose? Was this the first iteration, the last one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great words.
And I think there were great animations there.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things are good in context. And so whenever you have these ideas for animations, they're great if it fits the user's needs, if
Yeah.
it helps them do
something.
accomplish a task. And so if you kind of gave us the context as to why you built this, I think that will give us a lot more information and understanding of why you've made the decisions that you've made.
It's just a way to support it because we can see that you do good work.
Yeah.
But how can you support your process so that in the future someone can know what your capabilities are properly? Very cool animations though.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's one case in their profile, and then we'll look at their landing page.
This is actually what we did a lot of the times too earlier in the life of Castlelab with the agency startup. I mean, sorry, not startups, agency websites. And so yeah, a lot of these feel familiar.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So it's just the landing page then.
I think colors are great. Colors are very, very nice. The structure is a bit, by the end of the page, it looks a bit messy.
Yeah.
It usually alternate. You should usually alternate between left and right.
Yeah.
And here it sounds like it looks like it's going right.
Yeah.
And only right. So yeah, and that last shape, the last blue shape is there's an angle. It's a bit too sharp. I think if you're trying to go for the flowy round corners, this one looks like a bit too sharp of an angle. But again, not a huge problem.
Yeah. It says a lot about also. So these are the first two projects on your that we had access to. You know, these are the top two almost. You think those first two are the most recent, and probably the top are the most recent. So it's important to kind of make sure you're showcasing like what you want to be seen. You know, we didn't just pick those because they were the coolest. We picked those because they were those like right there, A and B. So maybe to always put the best foot forward with those two. I would say the one thing around this is what we said before. You know, where is this in context? Who is this for? You know, we can read the site and get an understanding, but you know, maybe someone looking at your portfolio has looked through 100 portfolios, and so it's design is only going to take you to a certain point with that. You know, it's how you set it up that's going to distinguish you.
Yeah. And Anton has it. Sorry.
Yeah, I actually have different opinions about this one. Just because this is a landing page. This is where a lot of people come and first see the business or whatever this is. And so this alone should tell the entire story of what you're trying to build.
That's a good point.
So it should be clear just by scrolling through the entire portfolio that this would kind of say what the business is and what you want out of the people viewing it and how it can help the users that are looking at this website. And so it should tell that whole story as well as like maybe a little bit of context as to like how you got this job or who is this for and things like that. That might kind of set them up and make sure that the people who are...
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's a good point for landing pages specifically. A lot of people are that's your first kind of start with design is starting with landing pages. And that's a great point to make. It should just kind of live by itself versus an app, versus something that you kind of dig a little bit into, a little more meaty. But
Anton makes a great point in the chat. Is it responsive? You could show us if you've designed it for web. Could you show us what it looks like on mobile? Did you have the time to make it responsive? And how does it look like? That's when you can come in with those mock-ups, those really stylish mock-ups with the iPhone X as a background. You know, show us how it looks.
Yeah, and you already have the skill to do that, obviously, from the first portfolio piece. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Overall, I want to give like one last kind of like word or nod to the designer about their portfolio and kind of for this one specifically.
I think he's going into the right direction. Definitely, and it's more about direction than speed. And I would say like just keep putting your work out there. The fact that you already have a portfolio is already so much further than a lot of people have gone. And so yeah, just keep it up. That would be my message.
Yeah.
You can see the progression as you start from that first project. The cover page get better over time, a lot better. So if you take a look at that second column, third row, that red background, there's very crowded. There's a lot of information, and as you move upwards, you see that there's less and less text and more colors. So
it's also this is the beauty of Behance and a lot of sites like this to hold your work versus your own portfolio. You're showing progression just by uploading, right? And like not deleting past projects, kind of just like leaving them in to show this is where I've been. I've also noticed, this is a Behance versus a personal portfolio page. How do you guys see? Do you guys think that the other one is more important than the other? Do you think that one is more vital than the other? And while you do that, I'll pull up the next person's.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know some people who use Behance as their portfolio.
Yeah.
They link,
think-
so they have a website and then they have like images for each project, but each of these projects link back to their Behance. And so they don't have a dedicated page on the website for that project, which is very interesting.
I think this designer specifically only has a Behance, or
right.
maybe doesn't link their personal portfolio site. So this is that case where they're, and you know, it's a toss up. It's a toss up in terms of what type of work maybe you want.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I was just going to touch a little bit on that. It depends on what you want out of people that are viewing your work.
Yeah.
If it's more of the community that are on Behance that is actively looking for these type of content, then great, put it on Behance. If you want to send it to potential employers that might not know what Behance is,
It's very true.
then a website of your own might be a little bit more suitable for
That's a
that.
really good point.
Yeah.
It's all about framing it, you guys, even for your own work. That's a good practice. Okay,
Ooh.
and this is our second. This is a mirror.
A mirror.
Brand identity.
Great.
Great.
And a website.
And a website. So we can take a look at the Behance first, and we can move to the website. So why don't we just kind of scrub through really quick?
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, look at that. So maybe starts with more graphic, more logo, early work, and then we get into some landing pages. And then now I'm completely enthralled with I want to know what this is.
Yes, that's the first one that caught my attention as
Yeah,
well.
because I think you can get the good read over all of these other projects, and now I'm intrigued.
Ah,
I plus
I like
time.
this.
That's cool.
I love this,
I
yeah.
like that a lot. Yeah.
Very clean.
A little
Succinct.
pattern.
This is actually very similar to how we present.
Oh, look at that mock-up.
That's right
Whoa.
behind.
Oh, nice. Super high quality mock-up. Wow.
Okay. Brand identity.
You deserve more likes.
There you go. You deserve more likes for this one.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah, you really did put in the work to make your mock-up work for you. Like a lot of people can take a mock-up from like a free mock-up and throw stuff up. But I think you really took the time to make this your own. You know, maybe it's even your own photo. Who knows? But you can see the attempt there to make that work for what you're trying to portray with your brand or your style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is very similar to how we actually present. We actually have, because logos in itself is the face of a company, and it doesn't have a lot of meaning embedded into it. Like the Nike swoosh, it meant nothing when it was designed.
Right.
But once you kind of put meaning into it and put it on posters and whatnot, that meaning or association is slowly developed through time. And so when you present these new shapes or I guess logos, you really have to build that story around it and how you were able to kind of put like the eye and the time together and communicate that really kind of sells the design and the logo to people that are paying you for these type of work. So yeah, it's great.
Very true.
That's awesome. That was great. And that was definitely your label as a brand identity designer. I think that definitely showcases your work well. Why don't we go to your personal then? Oh, look, full resume,
Oh,
Fiverr website. Very thorough. Very important to have all of these different contact points.
yeah.
All of your socials. It's something to always remember. You know, we're all on the web. So let's check you out.
Let's do it.
Oh, cool. Your digital presence is about to take off.
Nice call to action.
Get a quote. No.
Contact me. Clients say, cool. Okay. And a contact. Very professional.
Very, yeah.
Very like you are this is the place to be for your, your portfolio site is more of like your selling site.
Yes.
You're selling yourself. And you really do take that to heart. Like, because everyone kind of thinks of it that way, but you're literally like, get a quote from me now. Like,
Yes.
I'm ready to do work for you if you pay me, which is great.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of the bottom line too. But any thoughts right off the bat?
I think so. I'm wondering if there is if you have a personal brand, if it's and if there is, I don't see it applied consistently throughout the website. Maybe because it's probably because I haven't spent enough time looking at every page. But I see there's this dark green color but I'm wondering what that very first picture looks like and what is it related to. So I think it's like a beach or something, or
This one
mountains.
right here. Yeah.
So I wonder how that's related to you as a designer, or even your work.
Okay, so this slides down.
So yeah,
Okay.
maybe a little more refining on the content. You're displaying it first. I personally think the call to action is a bit too much. There are more subtle ways you can indicate that you're available for work. Because sometimes having too big of a call to action can lessen the quality of how people portray you. So I think if it were a little more subtle, might be better.
Nice.
What's your take on
That's
it,
a
Yuki?
really good
My
point.
take actually is, again, the opposite. So I think
It's great.
this Amir has a goal, which is to sell himself, which is to get new clients, projects to work on. And he has that goal, and he built this website solely to achieve that goal. And I think that was communicated extremely transparently, just from the call to action in the first place, get a quote. And I think from there, I was like, okay, this person's looking for work. This is not just a place to showcase his work. He's looking for clients, potential clients that might want to work with him.
Right.
And so I think just putting that out there already kind of filters gives us expectations as to what we will see. And so yeah, I think having that goal was already great. I think just whenever you are starting on a project, whether it's your portfolio or a client project, just having a goal of whatever it is, and what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, and there are ways to do that in a way that's not as. I agree. I agree more with Leo. Like it's more of a. I think it pulls away from. It feels a little more like you're. Scarcity is the name of the game. You know what I mean? That's really how you're going to. It's called supply and demand, and I think it's helpful when you kind of compose yourself as, yes, I want to do work. We know you want to do work. That's great. We all want to do work, but how are you going to portray that you are the authority on this type of work? And by saying, like making yourself extra available to that, I don't know if it lends to it as much, and that's why I agree really wholeheartely with. What is your brand? And maybe that's a perfect place for Amir to start. And I think the most simple way to do that is pick a color. Maybe pick a color. Castlelab, you guys use like purple, which we love. But that's a good place to start. Trying with consistency throughout your portfolio site. From the copy you write, from the message you're trying to portray, from maybe the color and the styling. We can see a little bit of a brand here, right? This is a little bit of your own little watermark, signature, it's your name, it's great, it's styled. And probably bringing that into even your Behance, having some cohesion here. So practicing that brand identity that you work on yourself.
Yeah.
That I think is a big one for designers. It's hard for designers to kind of look inwardly on how to sell themselves. That's
very true. I completely agree. So I think we can draw upon our experience because Castlelab was actually, the brand itself was created in a rush, in a hurry, because we just wanted to get as much experience on client projects, and so the focus was on doing work for other people. And so at that time we didn't spend any dedicated time to building our own brand. And so it's only later on, after we had these clients in our portfolio, that we were able to focus back on ourselves and get these illustrations going and these animations and this brand identity consistent. But if you checked our website a year ago, there wouldn't be any animations or illustration.
Speaking of,
there we go.
Quick plug. I mean, this was also on my screen majority of the stream, and I've watched these little animations the whole time, and they're so cute. But this, exactly, that's what we're talking about. Like it sometimes it just takes time, right?
Absolutely.
But something to try to just practice it. You do it for all these other places and all these other people and clients. Spend some time and effort on yourself. Self-love, if anything,
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's important to you are as important as your clients, and your clients are gonna see you in a better light because of it when you take the time. Soon you'll be at Castlelab.
Yeah.
Boom. I love how you guys do your site. Speaking of, this is their site, so you can take a look. I think it's great. Some inspo.
Who's that on top right corner? Is that Yuki? Oh my god.
Oh, look at that. Awesome.
Hidden
Okay.
gem,
Well, any last departing words for
Yeah.
either of our portfolio reviewed, past tense reviewed? Marissa, no, of course I didn't watch your landing page for 10 minutes straight. Yeah, guilty as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, or any just words generally about portfolios.
I think it's great. I think you just continue posting your work on Behance. You can clearly see a progression in terms of how you display things, and then just sharing your work to the public will get you more feedback and honest feedback as to what you can and we should do. I think so. Don't keep it to yourself. Make sure other people view it. Right. So I think you both are doing a great job.
Exactly. Yeah. Doing really good stuff. If anything, here we're just giving our feedback because we've been there. We've done it, and some of us, even me, haven't even put up all our stuff on Behance. But we're towards the end of our stream with you guys. You want to recap kind of what we did today and kind of maybe walk through a little bit and maybe show what we're doing tomorrow?
Yes, let's just go back to that slide.
What you guys doing tomorrow?
But yeah, today, so we had a lot of discussions, but let's just go back to this one. There we go. Oh, just gonna do that. But yeah, today we focused a little bit more about building the foundation so that we can tomorrow tweak it and focus more creating a unique experience. But yeah, we started off by introducing the project brief, having that darkroom restaurant reaching out to us to create a unique experience for their credit card payment. We did a little bit of user testing with Alexis here, identified some of the pain points and improvements that we can make, prototyped and worked on the prototypes just for the foundations. At the end, we did some portfolio reviews, so that was great. Tomorrow, we'll be doing styling, animations, and just creating the high-fidelity prototypes. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And we're also gonna include how to present your work, I think, which is really critical. It's very similar to how you present yourself in your portfolio. So how do you present your work that you've created for your client? So yeah,
That's gonna be awesome.
Our agenda for tomorrow.
Well, that's going to be awesome, and I'll definitely be tuning into that as well because we got a lot of stuff happening tomorrow, and that's going to be the one to watch, you guys. I sadly won't be with you guys, but you two will be crushing it together on the stream. We'll be back to two people in these seats tomorrow. But yeah, this has been great. Really been great meeting you guys and then showing us the ropes with today's project.
You're such a great host, Alexis. Let me just put that there.
We'll miss you tomorrow.
Yes.
For sure.
The stream's gonna end and we're just gonna compliment each other constantly. I mean, that's all that happens after the stream if anyone wanted to demystify that. But thanks again for joining Adobe Live. Thank you chat for tuning in and being so awesome today. It's really been a pleasure hosting you guys, and come back tomorrow and see us again on Adobe Live. See you guys
tomorrow.
Thank you.